Anisa. Some might know her as a kinesiologist, a fitness expert who played lacrosse in her youth, a professional boxer with an extra-large, healthy heart who had her career tragically cut short by 13 concussions, an artist and an expert in American traditional tattoos, and an empowered sex worker. But first, I came to know her as the girlfriend of a little-known YouTuber called iDubbbz TV. iDubbbz has had a bit of a tumble in popularity as of late. Some people directly blame Anisa for this, while others seriously can't understand why anyone would hate such a chill and down-to-earth and smart individual. I am planning a video that lists all of her lies and lolcow behavior throughout the years that I managed to find. But today, I wanted to talk about a much smaller drama, and that is if iDubbbz missed MaxMoeFoe's wedding because Anisa had a tattoo appointment. I'm not going to give you the whole backstory of the cancer crew and who iDubbbz is or whatever, because I think that if you clicked on this video, you already know. So I'll cut to the chase. If you aren't aware, MaxMoeFoe got married recently. The whole cancer crew was there. Chad, Max, and even Frank, who is probably more known as Joji to most people at this point than as Filthy Frank. How to Basic was also rumored to be there, but in true H2B fashion, he might have been out of the picture. Someone who was noticeably absent was iDubbbz. It became an almost uncomfortable point to ignore when they remade the classic image of them all holding the Chef DVD, but they replaced iDubbbz with Scott from Cold Ones. So, everyone was wondering, why didn't iDubbbz go? Aren't they still on good terms? He made a cameo in Cold Ones back in 2020, and while this is far less known to people since nobody watches his streams and he doesn't do blogs anymore, he did go to Australia back in October and he met up with them.
You at least meet up with them? Yeah, we've already met up. And I don't know, it was PAX related stuff.
We're going to dinner tonight.
Now, during this stream, it looked like the main goal of the trip was to possibly film a Cold Ones episode, but then Ian listed an array of excuses such as...
Well, someone mentioned something about Cold Ones. The plan was to go on Cold Ones for this trip, but I don't know if we'll end up doing it because Max has just been hella busy. Because they're doing all these, like, grog launches.
Yeah.
And PAX just happened as well, so I don't know.
Also, the set isn't... because they've been so busy, they wanted to like rebuild the set, and I think the set is down right now. I think that's what Chad said.
Which, to a lot of people, it sounded like Max and Chad were just making excuses to blow him off. After all, if you're planning on having a guest on your podcast, a guest who you have a history with, which means people want to see you interact with each other again, I think you would make the time, regardless of the status of the set. I mean, they filmed the PewDiePie episode in a hotel room, and as it turns out, Anisa actually posted a tweet during that trip where they were clearly on the Cold Ones set. So the story of the Cold Ones boys remodeling the set was obviously not true, which wouldn't have been known if it wasn't for her posting that image, so thanks Anisa. After the wedding photos got released, iDubbbz streamed again and was asked questions about the wedding. He clarified that actually he went to Australia primarily to give his well wishes to Max and Kat, since he had
kind of important plans here in the States, so we went a month earlier to kind of, you know, give him and Kat our well wishes. That's why I was in Australia, and it's kind of also why we didn't do Cold Ones, is because he was ramping up for his wedding stuff.
He repeated this later on in the stream.
No Sleep Jr. I didn't go to Max's wedding. Max and I had a conversation about it. When he was sending out invites initially, it wasn't a very good time for me. But we ended up visiting Max like a month before, I think in mid-October. And, you know, we wished them well, and,
safe travels.
You know, he had a good time. He had a lot of friends there.
And when he posted his Waffle House training reaction video, yes, this is the type of stuff that he does now. He pinned a comment that was asking why he didn't go to Max's wedding, to which he replied to by saying the same thing, that there were scheduling conflicts. I really do find it funny that most of the replies are yelling at this person for being parasocial, a word which has lost all meaning. But iDubbbz pinning the comment and directly replying to it encourages parasocial behavior far more than if he had just ignored this comment. The Jomhas are quick to accuse people of being parasocial for being upset at iDubbbz's sudden shift in personality, but they constantly let us in on their personal lives, with this being the latest incident. The big question in everyone's mind is, what was the business they had to attend to? Again, you might call us parasocial for even asking this, but when you make your life a public spectacle, it's in everyone's right to speculate on what's going on. Even then, they don't share their entire life on the internet, but with the information we have, there was one prominent theory that popped up that a lot of people are convinced it's true. The tattoo theory. You see, all the way back in July, Anisa decided that she was going to tattoo her entire back, because I guess she figured it looked weird if she only had her entire front covered in tattoos. So naturally, she decided to get an all-black tattoo that completely clashed with the multicolored front. This tattoo was pre-designed by this LA artist, which cost $18,000 overall. That is what she paid for this. Probably more if we're counting trips getting to and from the parlor. Even though she started in July, the tattoo was only recently finished around or before November 10th. On November 18th, a little bit more than a week after the tattoo pics, MaxMoeFo drops the wedding photos. Maybe it's possible that Anisa finished the tattoo a little before and just didn't want to post it out of embarrassment or fear. She's done it before when she shaved her hair, and again recently when she cut her hair short. She does something drastic and then the BPD high wears off and there's that tinge of regret, which holds her off from posting until she needs more attention again. It is also possible that the wedding happened before the 18th and they held off from posting pictures in order to keep it a secret. After all, Joji did attend, but it could also be for general privacy reasons. So the gap between the wedding and the tattoo could be more than 8 days, could be less, but let's just go by the dates presented on the post. Is an 8-day gap a realistic amount of time for the tattoo to be an actual viable excuse? I don't know anything about tattoos, so I've looked up tattoo aftercare and whether or not it's recommended to fly right after getting a tattoo. As it turns out, tattoo aftercare is quite intricate. You're supposed to keep it moist and sterile. You're supposed to keep it bandaged for the first day unless otherwise specified. Basically, it's treated like an extra special wound that if not taken care of properly can dry up and make the squigglies look extra ugly. And naturally, with something like a full back tattoo, you must be extra careful. As for flying, most sites that I looked at recommended against flying straight away after getting a tattoo, due to the aforementioned fact that a fresh tattoo needs to be kept sterile and planes full of people might not be sanitary and you might not be able to stand up whenever you want to apply any ointment or keep it sterile. Also, it's apparently going to be very uncomfortable. Most of these sites advise from a few days all the way to a week of healing before considering flying, unless it's a short trip. According to Google Flights, which might not be the most accurate place ever for this, but whatever, a flight to Melbourne from Washington could be anywhere from 20 to almost 40 hours or more. Say the wedding day was exactly on the 18th and the tattoo really was on the 10th. If they really wanted to go to the wedding but wanted to give the tattoo the best possible window of time to heal, and keep in mind that for such a massive tattoo, Anisa probably needs way more than a week for it to heal properly, they would have to leave on the 16th of November at minimum. And that's assuming that this is one of those 20-hour flights and that there are 0 delays, which if you've ever flown on a commercial plane, you know how improbable that is. If everything goes perfectly, they'd be able to arrive on the 17th and have a day to get ready and try to get over the jet lag. So they go to the wedding and then what? They're just going to return right after? They already took a risk just by getting here, so now they're going to double it straight away? Even if they stayed in Australia for the rest of the week, which is what most people would do if they had an international day-plus flight, that's probably not long enough to be able to travel back safely with the tattoo. Yeah, see? maybe this tattoo theory isn't so insane after all. But there are two questions you might be asking right now. One, why not reschedule the tattoo appointment? I mean, there is no way the wedding of who you consider to be your close friend, maybe even one of your best friends, the guy who basically got you famous in the first place, has less priority than an appointment for a tattoo that looks like it was traced by a middle schooler from 2002. Two, if you're in tune with this drama, you might know that Ian apparently got a tattoo by himself while they were in Australia, and he flew to another state by himself in order to get it. Let's ignore for a second how weird it is to be in the middle of a holiday with your wife and not only fly to another state just to get a tattoo, which by all accounts looks as hideous and as cheap as basically everything else they get, so it's not like he has to go because otherwise he wouldn't be able to get this once in a lifetime masterpiece. But to do it by yourself as well, there is precedent here of them going by themselves to do stuff. After all, they started off by having a long distance relationship and wouldn't see each other for months at a time. Well, for the first one, this tattoo artist thinks that he's such hot shit that he asked for a $1,000 deposit, and you're only allowed one emergency reschedule. Any other reschedule and they have to give up the deposit and resubmit a new deposit to complete the project. So, it could be that they already used up their emergency reschedule. On what? I don't know. I could sit here and think of a whole bunch of possibilities from dusk till dawn, but I think it would be going too far into fanfiction territory. As for the second question, I don't know why he couldn't go by himself. Now, I know that for most of us, we're already thinking that it's that typical Yoko Ono trickery, and despite her saying that Ian can go by himself to places if he wants to and do whatever he wants, she doesn't really mean that. But at the end of the day, we don't truly know what their home situation is actually like. We've seen enough to conclude that she has his balls in a vice grip, but there is no way for us to truly know how that plays out unless they're spouting about it on the internet. Which, luckily for us, they do quite a lot, but again, not enough for us to get the whole picture. It could be that she was fine with Ian leaving for a tattoo simply because she likes tattoos and wants Ian to get tons of tattoos as well. And she was also apparently sick from a hot pot she fucked up, so it would have been inconvenient for her to travel. This makes sense to me, considering that she comes off as a very self-centered person. This is further supplemented by the fact that apparently Anisa is traveling back to Canada for the holidays while Ian stays in Seattle to work on more content. Another thing that adds to the tattoo theory is that Max has said absolutely nothing in order to defend Ian and dispel the rumors. In fact, he and other people at the wedding continue to post photos with captions about what a great time they had. Surely, if you were seeing a friend who you considered to be close enough to invite to your wedding get lambasted about not going to your wedding for a ridiculous reason, you would jump at the chance to defend him, right? Is it possible that his excuse for not going to the wedding has caused a rift between them? It seems to me that there is trouble in our paradise. Back to the thing I lightly touched on, Anisa is going by herself to Canada to stay with her family, while iDubbbz is apparently going to be working on videos in his Seattle office by himself during Christmas, which is straight up depressing. Since around September, he has really been pushing to get back to the content grind. He has actually been consistently streaming multiple times a week on Twitch to less than 300 viewers usually. He was posting weekly videos of absolute slop until very recently, and on top of that, releasing a weekly podcast that's still going with ever dwindling views. They titled the podcast, "She Ruined My Career." I'm not making this up. Oh, and Anisa started posting on her OnlyFans again. It sounds like the money situation is getting worse. I mean, they have already stated multiple times in the past about how they basically made no money for the past 2 years.
Yeah, you mentioned you gotta start earning money again. Are you guys not earning anything right now?
No.
No.
Oh, boy.
We have not earned money for the past 2 years, which makes taxes very easy.
That's good.
Nice.
Maybe all that eating out and thrifting for expensive hipster clothes has finally caught up to them, with the tattoo being the final nail in the coffin to officially put them in the red. Maybe this is also why they couldn't go to the wedding? They're just too broke? But then again, If this was the case, they probably wouldn't fly to Australia in the first place. But hey, it's evident that the household isn't exactly making the most financially sound decisions anymore. So, what do you guys think? Do you think the tattoo theory is way off base? And if so, what do you think the actual reason is? Is the money situation really getting that bad? Let me know in the comments below. Goodbye. After the wedding photos got released, iDubbbz streamed again and was asked questions about what the fucking mosquito, fuck off. Oh my god. Did I kill it? Where the fuck did it go? Hello? Oh my god.